Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. This is live stream 931. If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out, super casual around here. We're just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then normally we'll either have a first look at a game or I might share a live review. Well, tonight I am going to take a peek into the Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia from Chaosium Inc. This is something from the new line of Cults of RuneQuest books that are coming out. And this is kind of an encyclopedia. So we'll be taking a peek inside this as well. So, want to point out a few things. If you are tuning in because you're looking forward to that first look at the Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia, keep in mind, we tackled the tabletop gaming news first around here. So, if you're watching live, kick back, put your feet up, relax. It'll probably be about 35 minutes or so, maybe 40 minutes before we jump on into that first look. Now, if you happen to be watching this 30 minutes or more after the stream ends, well, then there will be timestamps and you will be able to jump ahead if you're impatient and you just got to get to that first look. I get it. I understand. World moves fast. You got to move fast with it. Was that the quote? Was that? I'm trying to remember if it was or not. Close enough, I'm sure. Anyway, bonus points for the first person in chat to name the movie that's kind of from, if I got the quote right. Anyway, that brings up chat. So I should point out, if you're watching live and you're a subscriber to the channel and you've been a subscriber for 48 hours or more, you can take part in chat. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, maybe there's something about the Prosopaedia you'd like a closer look at, by all means, let me know and I will do my best to respond. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. So first out the gate tonight was Stray Kismet. The Madman is with us, as is John Mascola. So when I wrap up the news, I will talk about some bad news for me, good news for all of you watching out there. So stay tuned for that. But all this week, the Dispatch is being sponsored by Dias Ex Machina and their ultra modern 5 Kickstarter. Well, it's not Kickstarter, it's backer kit. In fact, even in the preview video that I shot, I was thinking, oh, yeah, it's a Kickstarter, because that's where Dias Ex Machina has done their crowdfunding, is on Kickstarter. I'm like, oh, yeah, coming to Kickstarter. No, it's on backer kit. But of course, if you go to the Dias Ex Machina website, they'll have links for you right there. So I am going to share their Kickstarter video with you. It's about 2.5 minutes long. So kick back and give it a watch.
Steampunk, space opera, espionage, supernatural, cyberpunk. Pick your setting, or play them all. In 2016, Ultramodern 5 exploded onto the gaming scene. On DriveThruRPG, it earned a copper badge in a day, silver in 2, finally reaching platinum after only 3 months. At the time, one of only 2 third-party 5e books to do so. Ultramodern 5 doesn't present one world. Instead, it provides the tools to make your own settings within the 5th edition framework. In the original book, classes, equipment, and scenarios were generalized. In this revised edition, every facet is being expanded, including rules regarding mecha, cybernetics, and the paranormal, effectively doubling the size of the original publication. More weapons, more armor, more opponents. This new edition of Ultramodern 5 will replace all previous artwork with new color illustrations provided by Hugo-nominated artist Nick Greenwood. The main books will also be supported by downloaded digital modules, including new standalone adventures and expanded rules tied to a new setting, Affinity, which blends many of the elements of Ultramodern 5 together. With Ultramodern 5, you can harness the tools to create any world you want, mix them all, or focus on one. The only limit is your imagination.
Hi, I'm Chris from Dias Ex Machina. That was our original crowdfunding trailer. Upon its release, Ultramodern 5 Redo sold faster than its original, achieving its own Mithril badge on DriveThruRPG. Ultramodern 5 remains the preeminent third-party non-fantasy sourcebook for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, offering universal rules for any homebrew setting. In this crowdfunding campaign, Ultramodern 5 Redo is being offered as a regular print edition with a standard or alternative cover, but backers can alternately acquire the deluxe edition with spot UV, a slipcase, and a satin bookmark. However, exclusive to this campaign, you can now pledge for the limited print leather edition, with metal corners, sprayed edges, and more exclusive features still to be announced. Also new to this campaign are 4 adventures and 2 campaign settings, each offering unique ideas, monsters, and encounters. Back now to expand your game into all new frontiers. The only limit is still your imagination.
The Backer Kit project launched today for Ultramodern 5 Redux. It's still the Ultramodern 5, but there are also 6 new adventures and campaigns that are available as well. If you would like to find out my thoughts about Ultramodern 5, I shared a video today with a bit of a Backer Kit preview, and I discuss what I think. And if you want to jump to the chase, big thumbs up, big thumbs up. Especially if you're somebody who is a game master and you're very comfortable with 5e mechanics and you're not looking for another mechanical system to learn, but you'd like to expand your horizons outside of just 5e D&D, this be it for a lot of stuff. So Christopher Rush as well as Roger Perdome are joining us in chat. Welcome aboard. So let's jump on into the news, because making its way into stores later this year will be Nautilus Island. And here's the scoop from Hachette Board Games and Funny Fox Games. You are shipwrecked on a mysterious and deserted volcanic island. In the wake of a storm, you come across a grounded and abandoned submarine, the Nautilus. You must explore it from top to bottom and will need to collect as many objects as you can to ensure your survival, repair the submarine, and leave the island before the other castaways. During their turn, players move their castaway marker in a column and then choose between collecting object cards from the column or place down cards from their hand to start a collection. Storing objects allow players to claim bonus and or porthole tokens before their opponents, and then they get victory points. When a column is empty, the game will end, and the player with the most victory points will sail away with winning the game. I kind of threw that in at the end there. Nautilus Island is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, plays in around 20 minutes. It's slated to arrive in Q4, and it's going to carry an MSRP of $29.99. Kind of interesting. Kind of nice looking family game there. A bit of a set collecting game. And a very unique take on the Nautilus, I must say. So I wonder if that is a dangerous island. So look out. Christopher says, looks cute and portable. Looks like you've got those European sized game cards as well. Kathy Evans is with us tonight. Howdy, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Let's move along to my next news piece because arriving in stores this August from Crow D Games is Fabled, the Spirit Lands. And here's the skinny. The end of times is coming. The gods have ruled over the human and spirits worlds for eons, but soon the time will come for them to depart into oblivion. On the verge of the universe facing its rebirth, the gods will entrust its reigns to the worthiest among the sage brotherhoods of humans. The greatest contest has begun. One netherworld has, or I should say, one neither world has ever seen before. Well, I guess the netherworld's included with it, the spirit world, right? In Fabled, your brotherhood explores the fabulous lands of the spirit world. They're fabulous. Your sages follow winding paths and visit fabled places along the way. Mighty allies assist them in their journey. Your ultimate goal is to gather books of wisdom as they contain the magic essence of the universe. The most prized of all are the books of Sun. The Brotherhood to collect the most will receive the reins of the universe from the gods. You have 2 ways to experience the game: competitively or opposing the spirits. A game controlled Brotherhood created by the gods. The spirits may be faced solo, cooperatively with other players, or each player for themselves. Fabled the Spirit Lands is for 1 to 5 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 40 to 70 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $45, and it is aiming for a Gen Con 2023 release, which would be in August. Definitely like the art style to this. Looks very, very nice. I also get a kick out of how it looks like you're kind of building the land. Almost like a bit of a tableau builder, but you're actually building the terrain as you go. Could be quite interesting. I got to admit, I have never played a title from Crow D Games. I know I've shared some news. They've actually got, I think, about a dozen games that are out there. So kind of cool. I will probably look to maybe try to say hello to these folks at Gen Con. So we shall see. Andy Sykes is hanging with the gang. Thanks for popping on in, Andy. Let's talk about Modiphius Entertainment and their new miniature system. That's right, because now available from Modiphius Entertainment is Mythic Commander. Here's what I know. Summon your warriors, lead your forces to victory, and become a Mythic Commander. Mythic Commander is a fast paced two-player war game that allows each general to lead an army of warriors, monsters, mages, and siege weapons in a clash of blades, arrows, and magic. Build your army from an array of different choices and test your tactical skill against an opponent on the battlefield. Achieve victory by outwitting your enemy and destroying their forces. Issue orders to control your forces and unleash powerful magics using the game's command and spell cards. Customize your army by mixing your choice of 7 factions with 6 civilizations, each of which contains different upgrades that alter the abilities of your army's soldiers on the battlefield. This game comes complete with a double-sided map and army tokens to get you playing right away. You just need some 6-sided dice. Mythic Commander is also compatible with any fantasy miniatures you may have. Bases all the way up to 40 millimeters can be used on the maps provided, but any size is possible on your own battlefield by following the guidelines included in the rulebook. This features a 40-page rulebook containing all the game's rules and tutorials to learn step by step. 7 different fantasy armies with 6 customizable options, as well as 6 scenarios that can be played in any order, as well as that aforementioned double-sided folding map, which is used as the game's battlefield. There are 98 punch-out game cards, 60 command cards, 36 spell cards, 1 Fortune of War card, and a round tracker card, as well as 97 punch-out tokens, 48 double-sided unit tokens, 35 double-sided damage tokens, and 14 double-sided morale and retreat tokens. Mythic Commander is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays around 45 to 60 minutes per battle, and this soft cover carries an MSRP of $20.50. I don't think it comes in a box. I do not believe this is a box set. I think this is a book that also contains the punch out cards and stuff like that as an insert, I believe. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I don't think this is a box set. But it's also available as a PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $13. I have reached out to the PR company that represents Modiphius Entertainment to see maybe about checking this out and getting a review copy, because this looks pretty interesting. I happen to be a fan of the kind of top-down view, which gives you kind of a miniatures view of your units and that. Now, I know I think there are a couple of companies out there, they make fantasy miniature cards. So they're the size of a playing card, but it's also that top-down look. So, and they've got, goblins and orcs and humans and barbarians and all these kind of different armies and that. And I think if this is popular enough, this could be a game that Modiphius Entertainment will support. And I do believe it's also based somewhatly on their Airfix Battles game system. I thought I heard that through the grapevine. I'm not positive, but I think that's the case. This looks pretty cool, I have to admit, and I would be definitely interested in checking out these miniatures rules. Let's talk about some role-playing game news, because now available in print and PDF is G.I. Joe, the role-playing game from Renegade Game Studios. And here's the latest. In the G.I. Joe role-playing game, create your own Joe by choosing your military training origin, personal traits, and role within the G.I. Joe organization to become a real American hero and save the day. Let's not forget saving the day. This digital book contains everything you need to create your own G.I. Joe character and play the game. Just add dice, some friends, and your imagination. You can create your own unique G.I. Joe character. A full rule book for running your own G.I. Joe role playing game adventures, as one game master will lead the story with their group of players. It also contains an introductory adventure for this new team, and it clocks in at 352 pages. The hardcover carries an MSRP of $55, while you can score the PDF at Drive-Thru RPG for $38.50. Yowza! So, I already have my concept for my Joe character. I'm going to be a sniper, and I'm going to be my tagline, my nickname will be cancel culture. I don't know. I just think that'd be pretty funny. Just me. Christopher says that they have the G.I. Joe RPG. It's pretty darn cool with lots of interesting options. So, as far as Renegade Game Studios goes, they have really kind of branched out into quite a few role playing games, mostly licensed properties right now. So, I had heard really good things about the G.I. Joe role playing game, which I think uses the same exact system as the Transformers role playing game. There's the Power Rangers role playing game, which I think is a little bit different because it's a different license. Whereas the G.I. Joe and Transformers, that's obviously a license with Hasbro. Whereas Power Rangers, I don't think is through Hasbro. But the weird thing is, I've heard really good things about the G.I. Joe role playing game. I really haven't heard anything about Power Rangers, but I heard Power Rangers is actually like super popular as far as RPGs. Don't know. Christopher Rush says, yeah, cancel culture. Trigger warning. There you go. And Snowflake. There you go. There you go. Cancel culture, trigger warning, and Snowflake. Let's take out that Cobra base. Manman says they always love playing a sniper. That had been an option in the Coast Guard when they were serving. That would have been his calling. One last thing I do want to point out, Renegade Game Studios has to get with it as far as the price on their PDFs. Come on. $38.50 for a PDF of a book that you're selling in hardcover for $55. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. $28, yes. Maybe I'd say I'd even give them up to 30. But if they're selling the core book for $55, which, let's be honest, is a little pricey, it's not new Wizards of the Coast pricing pricey, but it is a little bit pricey. If you're looking at a $55 MSRP on a hardcover, come on, you can't charge like 75% of that for the PDF. And I get it, I understand. It is licensed, but still. But once again, as Christopher has pointed out, it's pretty cool. Of course, if you're a fan of G.I. Joe. All right, my final news piece, also out in print and PDF, is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Salzamund, City of Salt and Silver. Here's a dope from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Whilst the chaos of the turmoil subsides, an invigorated empire seeks to leave civil strife behind and look towards the future. All eyes turn to Salzamund in hope that it may provide opportunity and secure the empire's coastline. It is the city of significant riches, for the nearby silver hills are abundant and precious. Oh, you guessed it, silver. and trade flows in from the Sea of Claws to the north. Cosmopolitan and vibrant, the cults of Sigmar, Manon, and Ulrich flourish here in relative harmony. Salzman promises opportunity and excitement to adventurous souls. Explorers depart from the city to trade with fur clad Norskins and brave the wide sea to Lustria. But the ruling Gosser family, newly installed and ambitious, threaten the stability of the empire. The head of the family talks of a reconquest of the wasteland, a reconquista. I'm just tossing that in. And defiance of their old masters in Middenheim. In the taverns by the docks, vicious and crooked folk conspire in smuggling and piracy. Worse still, the honeyed whispers of forbidden cults entice the truly desperate into the worship of chaos. Salzman contains a guide to the history of this important port in the empire's north, the makeup of Salzmund's government and their intrigues, a detailed look at the most important locations and landmarks in the city, mysteries of Salzmund, including accounts of ghostly past rulers and an entity thought to be made of pure shaman. Details of how to manage smuggling operations and mining concerns in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. There's also articles on the mysterious spites that haunt the forests of Nordland. Are they spites or sprites? I don't know. I just have a feeling that maybe an R got dropped there. It's sprites, like cans of soda. And there's also articles on the goblins who infest abandoned mines and tunnels. There's also player options for characters from the city and surrounding region. The 144-page Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Salzmund, City of Salt and Silver hardcover carries an MSRP of $39.99, and you can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. And we will be taking a look at this in the near future because Salzamund and Sea of Claws are being sent from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. We've kind of been able to get on the same page a little bit, a little better with their new marketing person. So we should be seeing that soon. Alrighty, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, by all means, give it a thumbs up. But if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find the gaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop on by paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And a big thank you to all of you out there who use the PayPal banners and or visit paypal.me. It is really, really appreciated because you really do help keep not only the gaminggang.com around, but even this YouTube channel. Even though it doesn't technically cost me anything to upload videos to the channel, there is still cost involved. I'll actually talk about that in just a moment. But, I don't run Kickstarters. I don't do Patreons to make a buck doing this. And you really help keep the gaming gang around, as does this week's sponsor. That's right, Dias Ex Machina and their Ultra Modern 5 Redux backer kit project to bring a new print run of the book plus some new adventures to Ultra Modern 5. So by all means, check them out. And as I mentioned earlier today, earlier, I shared my preview of the crowdfunding project for Ultramodern 5 and shared my thoughts about the supplement, which is over 380 pages. Man, it is just packed with content. So if you are running a 5e D&D campaign and you're interested in doing other genres like urban fantasy or cyberpunk, steampunk, cosmic horror, space opera, cosmic horror in space. All of that is covered. So Christopher Rush says, "Ooh, got to check out that video. Ooh, candy. Ooh, a piece of candy." All right, so we are going to be taking a look at Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia, in just a few moments. But I wanted to mention Flaming Herons with us in chat. Good to see Flaming Herons. So we've got a couple of our chat moderators hanging out. And I wouldn't be surprised if we've got our third chat moderator lurking in the area. So this past weekend, very bad news for me, good news for you. So what do I mean by that? So on Friday, I came down here to the lovely Duct Tape Studios to shoot my. Well, I mistakenly said it was a Kickstarter because that's where I thought the crowdfunding project for Dias Ex Machina was going to be taking place because that's what they've used in the past. And yes, there was actually a backer kit link that was sent to me. But I'm used to people using Kickstarter and then they use backer kit kind of as an alternate. Yes, Sarah D is with us. So anyway, so I came down here to the Duct Tape Studios to shoot my preview video, and my computer would not boot. It wouldn't post. I was like, wait, what? The hell's going on? So I'm checking. I'm like, all right. One of the outlets out. What's going on here, right? So of course it's plugged into a surge protector and everything. Just would not post. And I'm like, okay. So it's hard drive failure. Don't know. Is it CPU failure? Motherboard failure? But it was just not doing what it was supposed to do. Okay, so I didn't think it was a hard. Excuse me. I didn't think it was a hard drive because I wasn't even really getting to the BIOS. It was flashing some message, but it went like boom, and I was like, "How's that?" And then black, just a black screen. So messed around. Well, turns out motherboard crapped out, which I got to be honest, I've never had that happen to me before. I have never fried a motherboard. I have built loads and loads of computers over the past 25 years. Have never had a motherboard crap out on me. So I was like, okay, well, I don't live anywhere that there's like an electronics store nearby. We used to have Fry's Electronics. I don't know how many of you out there had heard of Fry's Electronics. They were halfway decent. They were all right. Uh, the stores in Arizona were kind of dumpy, but the store we had here, I think it was in Mount Prospect, if I remember right. Well, it was actually pretty nice. Their prices were okay. So Flaming Heron says you got to work hard to fry a motherboard. Only thing I can think of is that there was some sort of a power surge beyond the surge protector. I don't know. I honestly don't know. CPU's fine. As you can see, I've got a stream going, but I had to get a new motherboard, and I'm like, okay, well, I could spend an hour and a half driving to the nearest electronics store, or I could just go through Amazon. So got the motherboard, and I thought, okay, well, I know I should pick up a new solid state drive. So I got that, and then I thought, okay, well, I'm spending this money anyway. I guess I might as well get a new GPU, video card. Because when I took a peek, I thought I had 8 gigs of VRAM. I only had 4 on the card I was using. So, unfortunately, I spent quite a bit of the money that would have paid for me to go to San Diego Comic Con. So Flaming Around says, damn, Jeff went the whole hog. No, I did not. I didn't go whole hog. It's not like I bought new memory or new CPU because I've got a Ryzen 9 in there. It's only 3 years old. And nowadays, CPUs aren't like the most important aspect of your computer, which back in the day it used to be. So yeah, some kind of bumming. Kind of bumming because I'm like, oh shit. Sly Blue Demons with us, says the PC upgrade slippery slope. Oh yeah, there were other things that I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind having more USB-C ports. Yeah, maybe I should. I was like, no. Just get what I'm getting. So, anyway, what I'm going to end up doing, I was going to do this anyway, but I am going to have another game sale. I will probably kick it off next Monday, and I'll run it for about 3 weeks. And I am going to have some rock bottom prices on stuff to move it. Now, there are some games that I'm going to keep so I can bring them to Gen Con because I know what games bring in the most bang for the buck at the auction there. But I got a lot of stuff, a lot of RPG stuff too. So I'd prefer to get some of this RPG stuff into the hands of people who are going to play it, as opposed to it just sitting around here after I do reviews of it. So, Flaming Heron says, I feel you. Had to recently upgrade my CPU, motherboard, memory, and power supply, but it's been 10 years on the current setup. Madman says they're going to have to replace their laptop in the next year. That's something I do not know how to build. It is, and they are not easy to build. What I always recommend as far as laptops, I've got a pretty rocking laptop, thankfully. Funny thing is, that's got 8 gigs of VRAM in it. It's pretty, I think at the time it would have retailed for about $2,000, and I got it for $899 on a Black Friday. So, but that was the one that crapped out exactly 2 years to the date that I got it. And I was like, what the? I mean, to the date. I was like, what is up with this? I had to send it back in. So, Flaming Heron says 8 just doesn't cut it these days. A VRAM? Yeah, it does. I'm not sitting there playing Cyberpunk 2077 on it. But it's plenty of VRAM. Now, remember, I said VRAM. I didn't say RAM. Because it's got 32 gigs of RAM. I was going to say. But yeah, 8 gigs of RAM wouldn't cut it for most people. Although most people's laptops have 8 or less. But it's because most people just use their laptops to surf the internet and watch stuff streaming, things like that. Flaming Heron said 12 is standard. Are you talking VRAM? You're throwing me off here. because VRAM's the big deal these days. So anyway, so yes. So what you are going to find when we start looking at the Prosopaedia is that you are going to have a much, much clearer and sharper image, which I don't know if you're actually going to, if you can really tell with this, because these shots tend to be pretty clean, pretty clear, even with the old video card. But I think there might have been a little bit of a bottleneck with the two cameras going. And of course, you got to keep in mind that we're looking at the bandwidth as far as the upload. So I can only go about 9 to 10,000 kilobits per second, which at 1080p should be fine, but that's not always the case. So Flaming Heron said, sorry, RAM 16 is becoming the norm for RAM. Yes. Yeah, I wouldn't get a laptop or a desktop with less than 16. I've got 32 in the computer I'm running this on as well. So DDR4. It's not DDR5. Yeah, I know a little bit about computers. I'm one of these people. I'm like, I always kid around that I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So, Flaming Heron says, how are you going to list the games you're selling? I'll do it the way I normally do. I'll post them on the gaminggang.com. Probably have like a little box ad that you can click on that'll take you to the page, which will list them all. And I will look at, I'll probably do pictures of them, but once again, they'll be like, I'll try to squeeze like 10 things into the shot. So, but that'll be probably what I'll spend a little bit of time this coming weekend doing. So anyway, so that's how I spent my weekend. Had to wait to get the equipment, and then when you get like a new motherboard, you really should do a complete reinstall of Windows if you're running Windows, simply because you're going to have different drivers and things like that for your motherboard. And you know, if you've ever had to do a fresh install of Windows, the actual install doesn't take that long. It's everything else that you're reinstalling and setting up and porting over. So I could have just cloned the drive, and I was like, well, I'll clone it so I have stuff in case of an emergency. So I put it on a different hard drive. And I was like, but I'm going to just do a fresh install. So, and then of course I had to try to get everything set up so this works properly. So had to sync up the audio all up again, and you know how it is. All right, so we are going to be diving on into the Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia, in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
It's cause for celebration. Now you can enjoy a real taste thrill right here. Yes, it's the all-American favorite, hamburgers, prepared from selected choice beef. A feast in itself. Charbroiled to give you that cooked outdoors taste. Hot and ready to serve you right now. Cooked just right. Goodness you can see and taste.
Come and get 'em!
Yes, come and get 'em. Better make tracks right now to the refreshment stand. There's one waiting for you. Any age is the right age for a hamburger. You want more? Well, it looks like fun burger time. And for that extra taste treat, top it with the goodness of golden mellow cheese. A cheeseburger, put together just the way you like it. A man-sized meal everybody enjoys.
Hungry, but the ordinary things don't seem to appeal? Then try one of our frozen delicacies. They're taste treats that hit the spot, refreshing and cooling without being too filling, satisfying without being too rich. Give yourself and the whole gang a taste dividend. Select the frozen treat that pleases you.
Help, I've been imprisoned.
Why, fair damsel?
I don't drink Wilkins instant coffee.
Well, that's the way the old ball bounces.
And what can I do for you, little man?
Hey, watch that little man stuff. I'm very sensitive about my height.
Well, I only called you little man because I don't know your name.
You want to know my name? Ask!
All right. What's your name?
Shorty. And I want to buy some candy.
Oh, may I suggest?
Yeah, hold the sales talk. I know what I want.
Oh, I was only going to suggest the cashews, sun-ripened raisins, and Brazil nuts.
I'll take a chunky.
And only Chunky has that extra special chunky shape. Extra thick for extra flavor.
All right, Gabby, release the merchandise already. Chunky. What a chunk of chocolate.
Yes. Get a good old chunky. It's kind of funny how smaller those, like candy, well, not all of them, I guess. Because I have seen Three Musketeers commercials from like the 50s, maybe early 60s, and it is a damn big candy bar. It's like a brick. But those chunkies look pretty small. And the one kind of turtle-faced actor in that, if I remember correctly, I think his name is Arnold Stang. And he did a lot of voices for cartoons. So, and it was usually a character who was like under the thumb of their mother. Like here it says, not so chunky. All right, then. So tonight, we are going to take a peek at Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia from Chaosium Inc. This 144-page hardcover arrives in July, carrying an MSRP of $37.99. As far as I understand, this is kind of an encyclopedia. So this is not, so there's like 10 books that are coming out, which are part of the Cults of RuneQuest line. And I think 8 of them are actually going to be dedicated to specific deities or like religious groups from RuneQuest. And 2 of them are just kind of, I guess, like reference. So I don't think this has gaming material in it. I don't think. So we're, of course, obviously we're going to find out. So the first thing I have to ask is, how does that image look? Because it should be pretty good. So, even at like 9,000 kilobits per second, that should be looking pretty sharp for everybody out there. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I was going to say, otherwise, it's just a waste of time getting a new video card. I would assume it's going to look sharper than it has in the past. So let's take a look at the back here. Who are the gods of Glorantha? Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia, is an indispensable reference to the many gods and goddesses, monsters, locations, artifacts, and events that have shaped Gloranthan mythology since its making. It includes hundreds of entries describing these beings and forces in brief, informative prose, cross-referenced where appropriate. Okay, so it's just basically telling us what's in this. It says this supplement is an enhancement to Cults of RuneQuest. This is not a standalone product, and it is intended to provide a greater understanding of the rich and textured mythological world of Glorantha. So Kevin says that back cover text looks sharp. Cool. Very nice. So Christopher says, I miss books like these, just pure lore to devour. I don't know how much like lore this is going to be. I am curious about this. So as you can see, it's going to be in alphabetical order. So one thing we're going to see right off the bat, I'm getting the feeling we're going to have some pretty sweet artwork in this. I just don't know if it's going to be a lot of artwork. So a few things I do want to mention before we jump on in. First of all, the fine folks over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page, each and every entry, but I do want to give you a good feel for what's in the Prosopaedia. So let's jump on in. So just taking a look, we've got various different entries. And it looks as if, oh, we have pronunciations too. That's cool. I like that. Because then you can really bust my chops for mispronouncing fictional places and people and things and deities. Because it'll be like, Jeff, the pronunciation's right there, man. It's Araz. What's wrong with you? Are you stupid? So blaming here it says pronunciation so we can still mispronounce things. Yep. So let's take a look at one. Okay, so Baraku is a Funridian and Dorati. Says Pantheon Storm God. Sea or land. Baraku is the son of Brejeg, the primal storm. Baraku sought to take vengeance against Artmal for the injuries he had done to Baraku's kin. The Art, is it two R's or T? I think it's a T. The Artmali had built a huge wall without gates that kept out all foreigners, but Baraku the invader and his storm gods simply leapt over the wall. Oh, that made that wall kind of useless then, didn't it? As the storm gods destroyed the Artmali civilization, Baraku held Artmal under the burning seas and then cast his bones across the Pomeltella so they would never be rejoined. The Orlanthi of Umathella identify Baraku as Orlanth and worship him as a subcult of that god. So I notice we also have these runes up here. Do we have any? Here's our introduction. I wonder if we'll have maybe an appendix in the back, or keeping in mind this is not meant to be used as a standalone volume. So maybe we get more of a breakdown of these in the actual Cults of RuneQuest releases that will focus on the various deities. Something you want to keep in mind as far as the Cults of RuneQuest releases that are on the horizon, we have two, which are coming out in August. I believe they are the major, at least for RuneQuest, Chaosium Inc. Gen Con titles. So we have, I think one is the Earth Mother, and I think the other is it the Fertility Cult. But something you want to keep in mind is you don't have to pick up all of the various different Cults of RuneQuest books. You can pick up ones that maybe you're interested in those deities, or you want to include those religions in your games. You can pick those up and completely ignore the others. You don't need to have all 8 of those books, as well as the 2 standalone books. So we have this, the symbol of the Chariot of Lightning. Speaking of, it is Malchiani and Orlanthi, Pantheon's Henotheist sect. The Chariot of Lightning is the fastest growing cult in Ralios and the ruling religion in Orcorian. The cult believes that Orlanth is the supreme being, the creator, preserver, destroyer, revealer, and concealer of all that is. The cult believes that other deities are also important and deserve worship for their aid and protection. They also acknowledge a distant, invisible God beyond creation. The cult's sorcerer priests practice an intimate connection of breath, speech, sacrifice, and creation. Through its rituals, the elements and powers can be commanded. However, the Chariot of Lightning considers the sorceress practice of tapping to be inherently chaotic and evil. So I guess you're not allowed to play Magic the Gathering. The Chariot of Lightning cult describes itself as Malchione and has not yet declared a heresy by the High Watchers of the Rukari and New Ristoli sects. The Chariot of Lightning sect is symbolized as a spoked chariot wheel surrounding an air rune and flanked by Orlanth's thunderbolts. Agent Especial is joining us, coming to us from the Amazon. No joke. So is this one of these things where you would have somebody step up and look in the mirror there so that they see themselves? Could be. If you're not overly familiar with RuneQuest, may I recommend that you check out my first video in my Why You Should Play series, because I discuss why you should play RuneQuest. And to me, I feel RuneQuest is one of the greatest role playing games that were ever created. It probably has the most detailed mythology and backstory to it. And the rules really gave birth to practically every game Chaosium Inc. has published, because RuneQuest actually is the forebearer of the basic role playing system, which powers just about every role playing game from Chaosium Inc. So, very, very interesting Bronze Aged sort of setting, and very cool monsters. We got talking intelligent ducks. Let's not forget that. Christopher Rush says, our Lord and Savior 404 file not found. So Agent Especial says this art always reminds them more of the Byzantine era than with Bronze Antiquity. Huh. I was going to say, I always kind of get, once again, it's not as if I'm an expert in any of this. I always get kind of a Mesoamerica kind of vibe from some of the artwork. Christopher says, I don't have RuneQuest, but I may buy this book. It's just a beautiful book with gorgeous artwork. I'll tell you what, hey, actually, that's very nice too. The core rulebook for RuneQuest is loaded with really nice art as well. And it's not all this kind of almost, I don't know if I want to say tribal. I don't think that's really the right word. More like antiquity. But RuneQuest has a fantastic starter set. In fact, it looks like the Pendragon starter set is going to be very, very similar in style to the RuneQuest starter set. The Pendragon role-playing game starter set is going to be sent along for review. There we go. Got a little bookmark here. It is last I had heard, this was last week. It was I think just coming off the boat. So it was not in the warehouse here in the US yet. But I have been told once that becomes available, it will be in transit. And I am chomping at the bit to check that out. Because as much as Greg Stafford loved RuneQuest and all the work, the effort, the imagination that went into RuneQuest over a period of 40 plus years, he always felt that Pendragon was his greatest achievement. I found that pretty wild. But Pendragon is excellent. I know we're looking at RuneQuest, but I'm talking Pendragon. Both of them are Greg Stafford works. It's okay. The Pendragon campaign, I am so pumped to see what Chaosium does with the new edition of Pendragon with that campaign, because that is also one of the greatest campaigns ever put to paper for a role-playing game, because it's truly, truly epic, because it goes generations. It starts with Uther Pendragon and runs through the death of Arthur. So it is just jam-packed. Let's see, let's find another entry. This actually has more artwork than I was expecting. Nice. Jackaboom. So, Jackaboom. Jackaboom is the daughter of Kyger Lidor, or Lightor, and one of the 7 sacred ancestors of the trolls. She was the first troll shaman, first being to make sense of the mystifying separation of spirit and body discovered after the trolls reached the surface. She sang the first songs of power. Jackaboom was the first to deal with the Dahori, who were not ancestors, and the first to explore the methods of controlling non-darkness spirits. Jackaboom is typically worshipped by placing skulls of many different races and animals on an upright log called a foe cursor. Damn you, foe! I curse you. Now let me put all these skulls on this log so you'll stay away. She is sometimes depicted as a dancing female troll. Very nice. Very nice. This about 92 is chiming on in. Good to see you joining us tonight. Yeah, very nice. Very cool. Do want to point out once again, if you kind of tuned in after I started paging through this is really not meant to be a standalone work. So this is more to kind of tie all of the Cults of RuneQuest books together, so that you have a reference that's everything's in like kind of one spot. And as you can see, we don't have any game material in this. This is all reference material, but really well done. Oh, it's Lemonade. 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 Lemoniads are rare nymphs associated with Highland meadows. Oh, Highland meadows. I almost thought it said big land. I was like, wait, what? So it's far clearer to you on screen than it is to me looking at the book. All righty. I was getting a little glare, I think. They resemble prepubescent girls with brightly colored eyes, often with flowers growing in their hair, and only form their bodies when their flowers are in bloom. Thus, they appear with the first snowdrops of spring and remain until the last flower withers in autumn. As spirits, they start out weak, grow stronger, and then slowly fade in power as their meadow dies. When the meadow blooms again the following spring, it develops a new Lemoniad with no memories of a previous existence. Thus, a Lemoniad is eternally innocent, being born, living, and dying as part of their meadow's natural cycle. That's pretty wild. So they can control any non sentient creature born in their meadow and can magically sense events that occur there. Most have other magical talents as well. Nice. Kevin says Pendragon is also more his personal thing as far as Greg Stafford. He wasn't the lead designer on RuneQuest. He wasn't the lead designer. Steve Perrin was, right. Of course, the Glorantha setting and lore were all his. Yeah, because my understanding was, and it's very possible I'm wrong, but I had always heard that Greg Stafford was actually creating Glorantha because he was writing a novel. He was writing like a fantasy novel, and he had been actually developing the setting for years before even RuneQuest came about. So, holy country depiction of the only old one and the Unity Council. Who is the only old one? There we go. It's over there. Here's Orlanth. They're a big deal because they've got a pretty long entry here. Orionio is the daughter of Charlena Arroy, adopted or otherwise, among with her sisters Amprofesne and Malame. She is worshipped as one of the sisters of mercy. Kevin says, sounds plausible. I know the setting predates Chaosium and it was used in a board game before RuneQuest. Yes. Trying to remember. I thought there were two games that actually utilized Pass of the. I want to say it's something like Pass of the Red Bear, something like that. And yes, Chaosium was the Chaosium when they were first created. I don't know how many of you out there knew that Chaosium Inc. was the Chaosium. In fact, every once in a while, they sort of throw like an ad into the back of some of their books, which mentions them being the Chaosium. So we have the Red Goddess. So 7 steps of the Red Goddess from Blessed Terang. So this would be Sesene, the goddess of temptation, an intense desire for some object, emotion, or state of being can lead a person to use evil or corrupt means to gain such vile, overwhelming passion is incited by Seseye, who rules demons of desire, succubi, and similarly horrible creatures. She's illustrated as a beautiful man or woman, seductively dressed and posed. once again, there's actually quite a lot more art than I expected to be in this. So we got the 10 sons and workers. The 10 sons and workers of Ladril do the labor of the gods. They are led by their leader, Mohengus, the god of overseers, who carries a ceremonial mattock and small leg bucket. Don't forget that bucket. Christopher Rush says, sounds like a cult of Slaanesh to them. Busting out some of those Warhammer references there. That chaos. So I believe this is 144 pages. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yara Aranis with a sacrifice. So we get an index, no appendix or appendices. So we get our index and that. Well, so that'd be 144 there, 46, 48, 50. So 150 pages. That is Cults of RuneQuest, the Prosopaedia from Chaosium Inc., or otherwise known as the Chaosium. Not really, it's just Chaosium Inc. This is arriving in stores in July. Once again, I will point out this is not meant to be a standalone book. This is a reference guide for the 10 volume, which one of the volumes is this, Cults of RuneQuest. It will carry an MSRP of $37.99 when it arrives in July. My assumption is, because I didn't even see a link on the Chaosium website for you to order this. So you're looking at, my assumption here is that if you order the physical book from Chaosium Inc. or one of their affiliated brick and mortar stores, you will also receive the PDF absolutely free. My assumption is the PDF will probably run, taking a guess, $18.99, $19.99 over on Drive-Thru RPG when it becomes available. Christopher Rush says, hey, you doing a giveaway for this book? It's not out yet. I don't know what's going on with the PDF, so I can't do a giveaway at this point. So if it's not available, excuse me, if it's not available as a PDF, or I don't have any information about how and when it'll be available as a PDF, I can't do a giveaway. So, because I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm giving this away. And then it's like, well, we're actually not doing a PDF. Be like, oh, but they're not selling a PDF separately. So, as I said, I'm just kind of giving you an idea what I think as far as when it'll be out in PDF and what the cost will be. All right, so stay tuned. I will have a review in the future, probably not right away, because once again, this is not meant to be a standalone book. I've said that a few times, so it's pretty important to keep that in mind. So, but I will have a review. Do want to also mention, don't forget, tomorrow, I should say, tonight is your last chance to get into the running for my Forbidden Lands giveaway, because I will be announcing the winner on tomorrow's show. So I am giving away the Forbidden Lands core set, as well as the two new releases, the Book of Beasts and the Blood March, in PDF to one lucky viewer. So to get into the running, you just have to be a subscriber. Hopefully you like this video and comment on the video. And it's got to be a real comment. It can't just be like, hi, Jeff. So do want to point out, you can do that for any of the live shows this month. Every comment you leave, one per video, gets you an entry into the contest. I'm going to choose the winner tomorrow, and I will reveal that lucky viewer live on tomorrow's show. So what else is cooking this week? Well, tomorrow we're going to have an actual War Game Wednesday again, because I will be diving on in for a first look at Days of Ire, Budapest 1956 from Mighty Boards. So that is on tomorrow's show. This looks very interesting. And I do believe that this actually has some solitaire. Yes. 1 to 4 players. So you can tackle this solitaire. So that's on tomorrow's show. And then on Thursday, I will be sharing my review of the Lord of the Rings role-playing 4-5e from our friends over at Free League Publishing. So that is what's cooking for this week. Now, I do want to mention, I had originally said that I was going to be taking a look at Organic Towns from Headless Hydra Press on tonight's show. But with that new RuneQuest release that's not out yet, I did want to get that and share it with you sooner rather than later. We will be taking a look at this in the very near future. Alrighty, that's it for tonight's show. Hopefully the video has been pretty sharp. Hopefully it's different. I'm going to take a peek to see if there were any lost frames, not showing any drop frames. And the CP usage isn't even 1%, which that was never an issue anyway. That was never a problem with the other motherboard and video card, but I would assume this probably looks pretty good. Once again, fingers crossed. So, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my crowdfunding preview for our sponsor this week, Dias Ex Machina Games and Ultra Modern 5 Redux. So definitely check that video and that crowdfunding project out. Alrighty. So if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you were watching live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company as well, while I'm mispronouncing all those fictional deities and stuff. Of course, I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out to watch any of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. So everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow, and I certainly hope each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.